Hello, everybody. So we are going to wait for another 2 minutes for more folks to join, and then we start with the session. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So let's start with today's session, Study Medicine in the UK. So whenever we talk about doing MBBS course or medicine course, there are a few things which are very important. For example, a university or even a country should have a world-class research-intensive institutions. Secondly, it should allow a student to pursue licensing in that country so that a student, after completing the medicine course, can pursue a career in that country. Third would be, let's say, a university should have ample opportunities for clinical rotations as well as for practicing or for internship. I mean, these are the other criterias other than just doing MBBS, which makes UK as one of the best places around the world because it fits in all the criteria. I mean, it provides you the best research intensive institutions. The country is second best unit country for research facilities. A student, after pursuing MBBS, can sit for the licensing exam, and if he does well, can practice in the country. So there is a long-term career, there's a long-term guaranteed employability, in fact. So these are the things that I'm going to discuss with you, apart from how one can apply to UK for the MBBS courses. But before I move forward, before I tell you about the process, let me tell you about who we are as a company. So we are Brighter Group of Consultants. We have been operating in this space for almost 12 years now, and we have sent students across the world for different kinds of courses, for medicine, for engineering, for business management, to all the top universities, from Ivy Leagues to Russell Group universities in UK, for medicine courses to places like King's College London, University College London, even to Cambridge, Oxford, as well as we have sent students to Canada and to other parts of the world. We are not only into admissions, but we also provide test prep services. So any student who requires test prep coaching for tests like UCAT, or let's say SAT or GMAT or GRE, we help them as well. Apart from our consulting services, we have Go to University portal, wherein you can find tons of data related to universities across the world. So one can use University Finder on our portal to find universities, their requirement, their cost structure, and all the other things. You can even compare universities on different set of criterias. So please visit gotouniversity.com and you can actually be enlightened with all the information that's there on the website. Okay, so let's start with today's session. Why UK? So I have already given you a few points why you should be studying in UK. So there are more than these 2-3 points why one should select UK over other countries. Most important is global reputation and acceptance. So UK is one of the very few countries like US, Canada, Australia, whose MBBS is accepted everywhere, all across the world. Whether you go to India, or you go to, or you want to practice in the Middle East countries, you want to go to, let's say, European countries, UK MBBS course will be accepted without any further requirement for the licensing test. Now, that's very important, because from other countries, if you have done MBBS, even if you have been practicing, and if you want to go to, let's say, US, or maybe you want to go to Middle East countries, you have to sit for their licensing exam. But that's not the case with UK. So that's the most important element. Second is the well-structured medicine education system. They have a very well-structured program run by the universities and governed by the General Medical Council, called GMC. In this structure, a student will go through a 5-year program or a 6 years program. In the first 2 years, you do the theoretical classes, you do more like biomedicine courses. And then in your 3rd, 4th, 5th year, you start your clinical rotation, wherein you come in the contact with the patients. You are a part of patient investigation. You are a part of a counseling session between a doctor and a patient. So you learn during those 5 years. You get your hands dirty, and that's how you learn. And this is why it's so structured, and this is how it helps you to learn on the campus, in fact. So this program is regulated by General Medical Council. So let's say there are close to 40 universities, 40 medical schools in the UK. All these UK medical schools are regulated by General Medical Council. And this process is not easy. I mean, GMC would do a round of inspection of your course, of the university, of the facilities, of the faculties, and then they give you an approval to provide MBBS degree or to confer MBBS degree. So this makes your job easy as a student. As a student, you know that if your medical school is regulated or is governed by the General Medical Council, you can be rest assured that the quality is of utmost, I would say it has gone through all the necessary drilling, right? in every department, in fact. All the medical schools in UK are connected with the National Health Services. Now, what is National Health Services? So National Health Services governs all the hospitals in the UK. So what happens as a student, when you are doing your medicine course in one of the medical schools, you know that your medical school is connected with the hospitals via NHS. So for you getting a job or getting an internship after completing your MBBS would be easier. So that's how it's gonna help you. Benefit from UK's leadership in medical research. So UK is the second country with the most number of research every year on a consistent basis. So you know that you are studying in a country, you are learning in the country, which is doing the maximum number of research only behind US. So how do one go about applying to UK universities? What are the admissions requirements? So there are multiple factors which will get you to a medical school in the UK. So it's not only academics. So many students, when they're studying for medicine, they think of that it's only gonna be academics. So only scoring high scores in your let's say in your whatever curriculum you are, maybe it's Indian curriculum or it's IB curriculum or British curriculum or it's the national curriculum. So just doing well in that curriculum, you will get in. No, it's partially correct, but it's not only your academics. They look for a lot of other things apart from academics. So academics is one of the important factors. Then comes your standardized test. There are two types of tests that one can do, UCAT and BMAT. So I'll tell you the difference between UCAT and BMAT and what test one should be doing in the next slides. So these are the two tests. One can do both of them or either of the two. Students from non-English speaking countries also has to do one more test called English Proficiency Exam or IELTS. Okay, IELTS or even TOEFL would do. So these are the tests. Then you need a very strong profile. Okay, now what is profile? I'll let you know in the next slides again. But profile, in short, it's extracurricular activities inside and outside your school. Drafts. So you need to write personal statements. You need to write recommendation letters. Again, we'll discuss it in detail. These are also very important. Once all these things are ready, you submit your application. After your application has been submitted, you are called for an interview. Now, this interview is called multiple mini interview. What is multiple mini interview? We'll discuss later. Okay. So before I tell you more about these things, just one. So there are students who are asking questions or raising hands. So I'm going to come back to you, answer all these questions at the end of the session. So I hope that's fine with you. But you can keep writing the questions, whatever comes to your mind. Thank you. So academics or the grades. So what grades do you need if you want to get admission to UK universities? So for students from the IB background, International Baccalaureate Diploma background, you need to have 3 HLs and 3 SLs. And in your HLs, you should have bio and chemistry. Third subject could be anything. Third subject could be psychology. Third subject could be physics. Third subject could be math. But you need to have bio and chemistry as your HLs. And in your SLs, you can have rest of the subjects which you feel you are not very good at, or you just want to have it as a formalities. What grades do you need? Minimum 36 overall. Minimum 36. It can go up to, let's say, 41, 42, right? That's the maximum you can get on 42 out of 42. And 3 you would need from the core points, that is extended essay, TOK, and CAS. So out of those 3 points, you can target 2 points. So let's say as a student, I have 37, then 37 from 42 and 2 from the core points, which makes it 39. So a good score would be 39 out of 45. A very good excellent score would be 40 out of 45. So that's what you should be looking at. And if you have 7, either in bio or chemistry, that's going to make things easier for you. So that's how you should go about it. So in your HLs, you should target 19 with 766, and in your SL, you should target again 19, which makes it 38. For A-level students, again, the recommended subjects would be biology and chemistry. You can have third subject as, again, physics, math, psychology, it's up to you. There are many students who even go with 4 subjects. It's up to you if you want to continue with 4 subjects in your AS as well as in your A levels. But even if you have 3 subjects, it's as good as having 4 subjects. So don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself. If you feel that 4 subjects are becoming a little heavy on you, go with 3 subjects. What grades you should be targeting? Again, 1 A star either in bio and chemistry, and rest could be A's. For Indian curriculum students, CBSE and ISC, you should target 90% at least, okay, with bio, chemistry, physics, math. I mean, math is not compulsory for all the medical schools. There are few which will ask math, but there are many more which don't require mathematics. So you can go with biochemistry, physics. If you're weak in math, go with English, and the last subject could be of your choice. Again, in bio and chemistry, target more than 90. I would say 94 or 95, either of the subject, either bio or chemistry, I mean, and rest could be in 90s. So that's what you should be targeting if you are from any of these curriculum. Then comes the medical entrance exams. So I told you about UCAT and BMAT as well as IELTS. So first we'll discuss UCAT and BMAT. So these are the 2 entrance exams required by the medical schools in the UK. Now, what's the difference and which exam you should be doing on, and how you should be deciding on the exam? So there are close to 40 medical schools in the UK which are GMC approved, General Medical Council approved. And if you remember, I told you in the first slide, in fact, in the second slide, that GMC approval is necessary if you want, if a university wants to confer a MBBS degree to you, right? So without GMC approval, they can't give you the MBBS degree. So GMC has approved 40 medical colleges in entire UK. Now, out of those 40 medical colleges, close to 30 medical colleges, 30, require UCAT exam. Okay, so this is the list of those 30 universities which ask for only UCAT. You can't enter any of these universities with BMAT exam. So if you are targeting any of these medical schools, for example, King's College London or University of Birmingham or University of Manchester or University of Edinburgh, you have to do UCAT. All right. Similarly, the other out of 40, 30 requires UCAT. 8 universities, these are the 8 universities which require BMAT and only BMAT. So you can't enter any of these universities or apply to any of these universities with UCAT. So let's say if you're targeting Imperial College London or University College London or maybe University of Cambridge, so you have to do BMAT, right? So this is one of the ways to decide whether you should be doing BMAT or whether you should be doing UCAT. So a student can do both the exams or either of the exams. It is up to him. There's a huge difference between the 2 tests. So don't be under impression that both the tests would be similar or might be similar. So let me just do both of them. Both of them are very different. So UCAT is, is completely different from the academics or whatever you have been studying. So it has 4 sections, in fact, 5 sections: verbal reasoning, decision making, quantitative reasoning, abstract reasoning, and situational judgment. Now, all these sections, for example, abstract reasoning or decision making or situational judgment, it's not at all academics based. It is more to do with your EQ or logical reasoning or your decision making process, how you approach a problem, how do you solve a problem by using let's say data, or maybe some mathematical skills. So these things are required for UCAT test. So UCAT test actually requires you to take a proper training of at least 2 to 3 months, right? It requires coaching and a lot of practice, a lot of practice. What is the overall score for UCAT? It's 3600. What is a good score? It could be anything around 2700 or 2800. So there is no minimum score requirement set by a university. That score requirement, it keeps on changing with every year. So you can't be sure that, hey, if I score 2800 or 2900, I can get an admission to that particular university, or I can get an interview call. It doesn't work that way. So UCAT is only one of the factors, and it keeps changing. So the only thing that you can do is you can just try to better your score as much as possible. So let's say 2800, 2900. For example, if you're targeting King's College London or University of Edinburgh or Manchester, you should be targeting at least 3000 plus. If you're targeting university like Liverpool or maybe King's Belfast, then you can target, let's say, 2700 plus. So based on the medical schools, the score requirement varies. And in this situational judgment section, it is not a scoring, it is in bands, band 1 to 4, where 1 being the best and 4 being the worst. And 4 is something which you have to avoid. What is the UCAT timeline? Registration for this year UCAT is open. Testing, it began last month only. And the registration is gonna close by 20th of September. Okay, and the last testing date is 22nd of September. So you still have time. If as a student, if you have started the preparation already, you can sit the test maybe in the month of September. But if you have, let's say if you have not even started UCAT preparation, it's actually gonna be very difficult to attempt a UCAT test for this intake. I mean, for next year intake, for this year UCAT. Because the UCAS medical application deadline would be 15th October. That's something I'm gonna discuss later with you. But September is the last date, 22nd September. So there is one more important thing to remember. In one calendar year, UCAT can be done only once. So you can't do it multiple times. So if you're going for a UCAT exam, you should be sure that you are going to do well. You have done enough practice. You are scoring consistently well in the practice tests, so that you know that, okay, this is the score I have been getting in my practice test. So in the actual exam, I can target somewhere around the same score. Now comes BMAT. So BMAT is quite relevant to whatever you have been studying, especially its second section, which is scientific knowledge and applications. It's a lot to do with your science subjects, for example, bio and chemistry, as well as mathematics. Then it does have aptitude and skills, which will again test your problem solving skill, just like UCAT. And then comes the writing task, wherein you have to write essays. So BMAT will test three things. One, your aptitude and your skills, your logical reasoning, your analytical reasoning, analytical analysis skills. It also tests your scientific knowledge, your academic knowledge, and then it also tests your writing skills. How do you convey your ideas? How do you convey your thoughts? So it's very important exam. And as I said, it is being accepted only by 8 universities. When I can do BMAT, I can do BMAT again. Unlike UCAT, so UCAT has multiple dates within a given time period, but BMAT will have only one date, which is 2nd of November, right? So you can sit the test only on 2nd of November. Registration will begin next month and it's gonna close in 15 days only. And you can sit the test on 2nd November. You will get the result by 26th of November. In case of UCAT, you get the result on the same day, but in BMAT, you get the result later. And again, just like UCAT, BMAT can be done only once in a calendar year. Language tests. So there are many students who would require language tests. So who are those students who would require it? One, if you are from a non-English speaking country. Second, if you are doing, let's say, Indian curriculum or national curriculum like UAE curriculum or Saudi curriculum, you would need IELTS exam. Okay. So what is IELTS? It's an English proficiency exam which tests you on your English skills on 4 parameters: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. How much you need? You need overall 7.5 out of 9 bands, and you should have 7 minimum in each of the sections. If you're doing IGCSE, you are from a British curriculum, or if you're doing IB diploma, you can get a waiver from IELTS exam if you have done well in your English exam or English subject. So you should have minimum A or 7 in your IGCSE English. And if you have IB, you should have English Lang Lit, and you should score 6 minimum. So whatever I discussed so far with respect to requirements, those were the cognitive requirements. Now, these are the non-cognitive requirements. So the first thing in non-cognitive requirements would be profile. So what is profile? As I said, profile is all those things that you do as a part of the extracurricular activities in the school, outside the school. Not only this, even those activities which you are doing in relation to medicine or just to understand medicine will be a part of profile, and those are very important. So what are the activities that one can target? Most important, doctor shadowing. If you read through the medical colleges websites, you will find it everywhere that they expect from you at least some experience in a hospital, which is called doctor shadowing. So you should try shadowing a doctor, you should try shadowing a head nurse to understand the working environment of a hospital, to understand what kind of career you are going to get into once you become a doctor, what kind of stress, what kind of pressure a doctor has to go through in his daily life. So that's why doctor shadowing is very important. They want you to do doctor shadowing. Again, one of the reasons I already stated. The other reason is also, do you really want to get into shadowing, and whatever you have understood so far about medicine, does it match your expectations? This is something which you will understand only when you start shadowing in a hospital. So that's why it is recommended that you do doctor shadowing and then take a firm decision. The other thing, the other important activity that they want to see is experience in carrying roles. Now, what is carrying roles? So carrying roles could be anything where empathy is required. For example, you are doing community service, let's say at an old age homes, or maybe an autism center, wherein you are taking care of an individual, or you are taking care of a small kid. So that's where that is called carrying roles, and this is where empathy is required. And this is what admission committee they want to see in your profile, because medicine is something where you need a lot of empathy to take care of the patients. And if you're not empathetic towards them, it's not possible to become a good doctor. You can be a doctor, but you can't be a successful doctor. And that's why it is very important. They also want to see how much you are motivated to become a doctor and what all you have done other than doctor shadowing and experience in carrying roles to understand medicine. In the sense, what knowledge do you have? What extra you have done to understand different things related to medicine. It could be about vaccination. It could be about the recent disease or recent updates in the field of medicine. What research is going on in the field of medicine, and how you have tried to understand all these things. So this is what is very important. So what can be done to show that motivation? You can do online courses, you can read books, you can read articles, you can watch shows like Good Doctor, Grey's Anatomy, so all these things. You also want to see leadership or initiatives and teamwork abilities. Again, these two things are very important, because you're going to be working in an environment where at times you need to lead, you need to take decisions, and your people working with you should have the confidence in you. And that's why they want to see that leadership and teamwork related activities in your profile. So wherever you get such opportunities in that school, again, outside the school, grab it. Okay. Again, they want you to be in one of the hobbies. It could be music, it could be sports, it could be cultural activities. It's good to show different sides of your personality. All right. So personal statement. What is personal statement? As the name suggests, it's personally you're talking about it. You're more of marketing your profile to them. How do you do that? So you have to write 47 lines, or let's say within 4,000 characters, which is close to 650 words. You have to talk about yourself. So whatever we have discussed in the profile, everything goes to the university through this personal statement, right? What do you write in the personal statement? You start with a motivation. Why do you want to do medicine? It could be an anecdote. It could be a background. You might have had an instance. You might have had some event which attracted you towards medicine. Talk about that. If there is nothing, if there is no such event or instances, you can be very normally, you can say that, hey, I'm interested in human anatomy, I'm interested in biology or chemistry, and that's where medicine fits in very well, and that's why I thought of doing medicine. Exploration. Again, in the third paragraph, you talk about doctor shadowing, you talk about different things that you have done to explore medicine. Why are you suitable? So again, you talk about the qualities that you have, the traits that you have in you. Talk about your leadership abilities, talk about your teamwork abilities, talk about your initiative that you have taken in the past, your participation in different activities in the schools. Talk about all those things and try to highlight the reasons you fit in to that medical school, or you fit in to be a doctor in the future. So it's the same, whatever I have discussed. So The entire essay should be divided into multiple paragraphs. It could be 6 to 7 paragraphs, and each paragraph should focus on a certain topic, right? And you should start with one draft and be ready to write multiple drafts of it, because nobody can write a perfect draft in one go. So you should be ready to write, let's say, 5, 6 drafts. Every time you should read it, make others also read it, and then ask for their feedback, ask for possible changes, or ask for their suggestions, keep changing it, and then you will have a a final draft, a polished draft. Check also for grammar, because these things are very important when you are writing a personal statement. Recommendation letter. What is recommendation letter? It's a letter from your school teachers, or from your school counselor, even from your principal. So somebody has to recommend you to the university. Okay, and who could be the best other than your teacher, because they know you very well. They know you as a student, your contribution in the class, what kind of student you are. They know about your strengths, your weaknesses, your personality, your initiatives. So all these things are required in a recommendation letter. So when you are selecting a teacher, make sure that the teacher knows you very well, that this teacher has been teaching you for quite some time. And that teacher should be somebody who is ready to, give time to writing this recommendation letter, because it requires a lot of thought process. It requires too many things to be included, incorporated. So you should know who can do it for you. And it's also a good idea. So when you are recommending, when you are asking your teacher to write a letter for you, give her a list of points that you would want her to include in your recommendation letter, because it might happen that your teacher might not remember all the things you have done in the past. So it's always a good idea to help your teacher to recall all those things and incorporate it in your recommendation letter. Types of interviews. So now, what is the interview? So what happens when, as I said, when you have submitted your application to the medical school, they go through your application, they review all the things that you have included in your application, and if they find you suitable for the medical school, for their medical school, they are going to invite you for the interview. Now, what kind of interviews are there? So there are different kinds of interview called panel interviews, group interviews, multi-minute interviews. So out of these three, the most popular type of interview is multi-minute interview. So as the name suggests, it's multi-mini. So it's a multiple rounds of small or brief interviews. And one interview at one college, one medical school might take 60 minutes, because for each medical school interview, you will have 6 to 8 rounds of interviews, and each round would last anywhere around 7 to 10 minutes. So minimum 60 minutes is what you can expect to be interviewed by the medical schools. Why do they interview? So they interview to check suitability to be a health professional, in the sense, do you have empathy, enough empathy? Are you ready for this stressful career? Do you have good communication skills? Can you make your patients comfortable while talking to them? Do you have good writing skills? How much scientific knowledge do you have so far? Because you have been learning about medicine. So what kind of knowledge have you gathered in the past or in these last, let's say, 1 year, 2 years? Do you know about ethical issues in the medicine? What kind of decision making ability do you have? So they will give you difficult questions and they would ask you, what would you do in this situation? Right? They might ask you questions related to vaccination. They might ask you questions related to uh, 4 pillars of medicine, or what is the medical ethics, uh, what is NHS. So you should know all these things. So you should have done enough research. You should have studied well for these interviews. Okay, so now we know what all do we need to prepare in a, according to apply to in order to apply to the universities, right? So how do the application journey looks like? So first of all, you prepare all the documents. Now, what are the documents that you prepare? You need your academic transcripts. So you need your IGCSE or your NYP or your 10th board results. You need your predicted grades. Why predicted grades? Because you would have submitted application 1 year earlier than the intake or the exam year. So that's why you need predicted grades. For example, let's say if you're applying for 2024 intake, so you will submit your application in 2023 by 15th of October. So you will not have done with your final exam by then, and that's why they would ask for a predicted exam results. You need your profile related certificates. For example, if you have done 2-3 doctor shadowing, you need at least one certificate. Similarly, for community service, you need at least one certificate. You need to prepare your personal statement, recommendation letters. So these are the documents that you need. And of course, you need to get your UCAT scores ready. So you should have done UCAT before applying. You should have done your IELTS exam before applying. And as I already discussed, the last date to apply would be 15th of October, right? So for students who are applying for 2023 intake, they should apply this year by 15th of October. So they have August, September, almost 2 months, 15 days, in fact, 2 months, 10 days left to prepare all these things. Get ready for MMI. So MMI invite. So as I said earlier, you apply by 15th of October. After that, you are invited for the interview based on whether you fit in their requirements or not. But you should start preparing for MMI from now onwards. You should not wait for their invitation to come by, because the questions that they are going to ask are very difficult. And if you are not prepared well, you might just lose your chance. So it's better that you start preparing from the word go. Once you are done with all these things, you have been interviewed by them, and then they are going to add up the scores from each section. So they are going to add up scores on your academics. They are going to add up scores on the UCAT. They're going to add up scores from the MMI rounds. And on that basis, if you fall in, let's say, top 10% or whatever percentage they have decided, if you fall in that category, they would offer you a conditional offer letter. Why conditional offer letter? Because yet you have not submitted the final, your high school result, right? Once you submit the final high school result, this conditional offer letter will be converted into an unconditional offer letter. So this is the entire process. Once you have the unconditional offer letter, you would join the university. When do the course start? Course starts in the month of September or by 1st of October. Okay, so we have discussed all these things. These are very important things. But more than that, this is very important to understand how many colleges one can apply to UK. So though there are 40 colleges, which I showed you, 30 colleges ask for UCAT, and another 8 colleges, they ask for BMAT. There are 2 to 3 colleges which don't ask for any exam. But as a student, you have to know that you can only apply up to 4 colleges, right? So, and this is where the things get little tricky, right? So, colleges. Now, how do I select those 4 colleges? On what basis can I select those 4 colleges? So, one would be your preferences, the other would be the entry restrictions. Entry restrictions could be number of international seats. Again, all these medical colleges have limited international seats, ranging between 20 or in fact, ranging between 16 to 35. For example, Birmingham University or Manchester University have close to 30-35 seats. Newcastle has close to 25 seats only. So there are only 15 to 35 seats for all the international students applying from different parts of the world. So very limited number of seats. So you have to be very careful about that. You also have to be careful about your age, because many medical schools don't accept students who are not 18 on the date of course start, or let's say by 1st of October of the joining year. For example, you are joining in 2023, so you should be 18 by 1st of October in 2023. If you are not, you cannot join that university, even though you have an excellent profile. Third would be your curriculum should be accepted. For example, out of these 40 medical colleges, close to 15 medical colleges don't accept Indian curriculum. American curriculum without APs are not accepted by any of the medical colleges. So you should know in advance which, if you are doing any of these curriculum, then you should check with the medical schools if they are accepting your curriculum or not. Then could be the preferences. Preferences could be teaching style, hospital tie-up, and all these kind of things. So teaching style, so there are many medical schools with a case-based learning or problem-based learning. Then schools like Cambridge, Oxford have a traditional way of teaching, the old school teaching. So would you like that, or do you want to go into problem-based learning? So you decide on that. Then hospitals tie-up. As I said in the first slide, in fact, hospitals tie-up is a very important part, because as many hospitals are tied up with the medical college, as many opportunities you will have for clinical rotation. So this is the thing which is one of the most important element of the entire process. Okay, so now we have reached to the last part of our session, how we can help you. Before I discuss how we can help you, I want to introduce you to Ria. So, hi Ria, how are you?
Hi, I'm really good. How are you?
Doing very well. All right. So just to introduce, as an introduction, I mean, Ria is a medical prospect. I mean, in the sense she wants to do medicine, and she is running a virtual med society. Now, what is virtual med society? It's a medical society for all the uh, medical or medicine students. I mean, students who want to study medicine in the future. For them, this society is a very beneficial society, because through this society, you can find out a lot of things related to medicine, related to application, related to career, related to different kinds of opportunities in the field of medicine. And it is one of the very good profile related activity. So you can highlight this activity as on your profile, and all the medical schools, they like to see, or they want to see this activity on your profile list. So Ria, would you like to tell us more about this virtual med society to all our attendees?
Definitely. So, Virtual Medical Society, like Mr. Nishant was just talking about, it is a society where aspiring medical students, we try and help other aspiring medical students with their applications. So, we help them with UCAT, we also help them with PMAT, We also try and give them doctor shadowing experiences online. And we have several other sessions that we do which help medical students. So we actually have an Instagram page, and we have a sign up link to be a member, and we have these weekly newsletters. I think, no, sorry, it's monthly newsletters that we send out to students, which can help them in all these aspects that we just spoke about. And we have webinars which are conducted for studying in US, UK, and in various different areas of the world. So it also helps connect international students from all different parts of the world to, and helps them understand as to how they should go about the entire process of getting into a medical school.
Excellent. So Ria, so let's say if I become a part of this society, so do I have any role to play, or am I gonna just receive all these things from, let's say, you or somebody?
If you're a part of the society, you would just be receiving all these things from us. So we will be providing you with webinars, like links to webinars. We would also be providing you with several other resources which can be really useful to you. But you could also become a member, not this year currently, but in the future, next year, you could apply to become a member of our society. And you can also do something similar to what I am doing right now, where you can try and connect with different collaborators, and you could also help VMS in terms of helping the experience for students.
Okay, so if I'm a part of this society, do I get any written proof if I want to share it with university, like kind of a certificate or anything?
So it depends on, so for example, for the doctor shadowing, if you attend that, obviously you would get a certificate for attending that. But for attending UCAT and BMAT sessions, it would just be to benefit you in terms of understanding how exactly to solve those questions, or we'll be providing you with strategies as to how to solve those questions. So it's more of a situation where we're just trying to help and advise students.
All right. Okay. So would you like to tell us, I mean, what's the process to join your
It's
society?
actually a really simple process. It's we have this link, we have a sign up link which I can share on the chat, and people who put their information on the sign up link would receive a newsletter monthly, and they would also receive information about what sessions we'd be having and webinars, and would be invited to attend them as well.
Okay. And is there any criteria to become a member, or anybody can become a member?
No, only like people who actually are intending on doing medicine can become a member. So it can be anyone from any place in the world. In like, maybe if they even figure out that they want to do medical even at an earlier stage, they can definitely apply. We want to help every person possible.
Excellent. So I think, Ria, that's very good initiative, or that's very good value added services. So guys, I mean, if you're really interested, looking forward to do medicine, this is one of the activities that you should be pursuing, you should be doing it. And this can help you a lot. This can help you to understand medicine uh, as an applicant, and as somebody who want to pursue it as a career, right? So it's a very good initiative, so definitely you should be doing it, and it's gonna add value if you add it to your profile as well. All right, Ria, thank you
No
for
problems. I'll just attach the link to become a
sure,
member and our socials as well on the chat.
please do. All right, thank you. So yeah, so now how can we help you? Again, I mean, if anybody is interested in doing medicine, you can definitely get back to us. We provide all the services, all the things that I have discussed so far in this session, starting with the uh, UCAT, BMAT, IELTS coaching. We have face-to-face coaching. If you can't reach out to to our center, then we have online coaching for you. We have IELTS coaching as well. We will help you plan your entire journey, okay, by giving you timeline, by letting you know what activity you should be doing in which month, how many activities in a particular category you should be doing, which is which are the activities which you can just get rid of, not required. So we'll help you with that. We'll help you to develop, to enhance your profile. uh, will help you to write your essays. Yeah, write the letter of recommendation. I know you are going to get it from the teacher, but in case your teacher doesn't have time, then we can pitch in for that. We'll help you to fill in the application, submit the application on time. Uh, and the most importantly, we will be helping you to select colleges, because that's the most important part. And I'm telling you, I'm telling you uh, on the basis of my experiences, selecting 4 colleges is the most difficult part of the entire process, right? Because finding the right college based on your profile and their requirement takes years of experience. Okay, so we'll help you with that. We'll help you with the MMI preparation. Again, MMI prep is very difficult, and it takes multiple sessions to prepare for the MMI. We provide multiple sessions. We provide 5 to 6 stations at our office so that you get the real feel of that MMI process. And we ask you questions which have been asked in the last 4 or 5 years. And then we also support you with the visa. We guide you through the entire process. So please reach out to us if you want to pursue medicine in the UK. And so how do you reach out to us? You can call Sarah on this number if you are from Dubai or you are in the Middle East. If you're from Asia, especially from India, you can call Varun Iyer on the number which you can see on your screen. Okay, now I'm gonna answer all the questions which they are on the chat box. So let's see how many questions we have and what kind of questions we have. Also, guys, to all the attendees, if you want certificate for the attendance, you can call Sarah and she's gonna get you the certificate for the attendance. So please do that. Okay, so I have questions. Biomaths is compulsory for MBBS. So bio, I would say yes, it is compulsory. Come on, how can you do medicine without doing biology? So you should do bio and you should do chemistry. Math, as I said, it's not compulsory, but you should have studied math in your at least last year or year earlier. You should have studied math, but not in your final year. That's okay. For CBSE students, is IELTS required? Yes. IELTS is required for CBSE students because you can get IELTS waiver only if you have done IGCSE or if you have done IB. So you need IELTS. Are the MMI in 2022 online or in the university in UK? Most probably it's gonna be online MMI, but we'll get more clarification in the month of September. Which universities do not accept the Indian curriculum? So read, there are close to 15 medical colleges who do not accept Indian curriculum. I can't name all of them right now, but there are 15, but there are quite a lot who accepts Indian curriculum. So you should not be worried. I have to apply via UCAS. If yes, then why to apply for September? and I can apply to. Sorry, I didn't get your question. If yes, then when to apply? Okay, then when to apply for September? As I said, 15th October is the last date to apply. This year, 15th October. So you should apply. You have 2 months left. A student should give exam UCAT or BMAT. As I said, it depends which universities you are targeting. But if you ask me personally, I would suggest go for UCAT because UCAT has more options and UCAT has more time because BMAT has only one date to do, and BMAT you will do after you have submitted your application. So that's a big risk. So you should do UCAT. How do you know a particular university is NHS approved? It should not be NHS approved. It should be GMC approved. Don't mix GMC with NHS. NHS is something which will be required in the future. So it should be GMC approved. There is a GMC list which you can check. You can just Google up, you will find the universities. Will SAT? No, SAT is not considered. It's only for the US. I have already applied to the UK in 2022, but I was rejected and already done 1 year of. Are there any restrictions on applying to the UK? You can apply. But you need to have strong UCAT scores, strong essay, why you are applying, all these things. Overall MBBS studies 5 years. Okay, so 5 years plus 2 years plus minimum 3 years of yeah. So it's gonna take totals minimum 10 years to become a licensed doctor. If applying for 2023 intake, when is the last date to give IELTS? There is no last date to give IELTS, but you should have your IELTS score with you before 15th of October. What fees we need to pay for service? So 9, you can reach out to Sarah or you can reach out to Varun Iyer. We'll let you know. I'm holding BSc Public Health Education. I want to know if I can have graduate entry in school. Yes, Otang, you can apply for medical school in UK. Almost requirements would be same. You will be doing graduate medical course, which is a 4-year degree. And you have to do UCAT again. I mean, you have to do UCAT, but yes, you can apply. We have to apply via UCAS portal or direct UCAS. You have to apply via UCAS. What are the general expenses to study in UK? It's costly. It's gonna cost you minimum all inclusive. I mean, living expenses, fooding, lodging, everything, and the tuition cost would cost you close to 50,000 dirhams. Sorry, 50,000 pounds per year. I have been told by my mates as well. It's pretty dull despite it being free. You are also allowed to choose either family medicine. I think that's something which is outside the topic which I have presented. So maybe we can have a call and discuss it further. What are application charges? And we have to make different SOP for no. So only one personal statement will go to all the universities. You don't have to make different SOPs. What if I don't get 85 in qualifying year? No, you need 85% minimum with 85% in bio and chemistry. If not 90%, it's okay, but 85% minimum is required. About BDS. So we'll have another session on BDS, then we can discuss. We only have to apply to 4 universities for medicine in UK through UCAS. Yes. If done A levels from UK, still need to give IELTS. If you have studied in UK, you don't need. As I said, if you are from non-English speaking country, then you need IELTS. What you can score consider good enough by all universities, 3,000. Yeah, 3,000 out of 3,600. Thanks, but please send me a recorded link for today's webinar. So Wasim, it's gonna be live on, I mean, you will find the recorded webinar on our website. Duration for graduate entry medical school in UK, 4 years. After 12, the MBBS studies for 5.5 years including. No. So you have to do 5 years MBBS, 2 years internship, and then another minimum 3 years specialty. That specialty can go up to 7 years also. So minimum 10 years you have to do medicine to become a licensed doctor. Okay, so with that, all our today's session, I'm gonna end it here. So I hope I have answered all the questions. So thank you for listening to me and being a very good attendees. And if you have any further questions, you can email us on sarah@gotouniv.com. You can even email to ir@gotouniv.com for further questions. You can call us if you want any further support from our end. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ria, for your and for all the information that you shared related to the Med Society. And thank you, all the attendees. All right.